welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and today we are talking about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Okay.
I love that.
There we go.
There's the summary in all collection.
There we go.
Yes.
So we were talking about shine theory, and I just can't let it go. I can't let it go because it's just, I really like it. But the idea is that, women, instead of feeling like we have to be in a competition with each other and, being in, jealous of each other, that we are actually supporting one another, and that we don't shy away from the shine of other people, that we actually gravitate toward that shine. There's no reason to be jealous. So I did point fingers a little bit, and I said, okay, so we see that the men do this. They support each other, and we may not see it outwardly. The only reason why I know is because when I go into their circles, I see the extent to which they're supporting each other,
Right.
And
Yes.
I'm like, wow, we don't do this.
Right.
We don't do this. We don't have each other's back like this. But when I have tried to be a part of the circle with these men, I don't get treated the same way. I get treated like, oh, so
You're too pretty.
What you gonna do for me?
All street with your shine.
I'm like, I don't
You need
want
to tone
give
your
you that
beauty
kind of
down a little
shine.
bit.
Right. So it just makes me wonder, if and I will address this particularly to black men, because we always talk about how we like to support each other. We want to build up the community. We want to bring each other up. So if that's the case, black men, can we come together and just support each other without the vision and the things that, the expectations, the sexual advances, the things like that, and does it happen, And
Why does it happen? What's the real reason behind it? Because when I think about some of the experiences I've had in the past with men, a lot of times I feel that they did not really honor the entrepreneur in me, that they really didn't take my business endeavors seriously.
Right.
And so because of that, then the sexual tension or the physical attraction or the male-female dynamic overshadowed what I'm doing and what you could do to help me get there.
Right. And that's good. And to the extent, I love the sexual attraction and the sexual chemistry that happens, the tension, those things, they happen, right? So, but there is a way to navigate through that and still allow the person to have their dignity, to do it in a dignified manner. So I definitely don't want to act like the chemistry and the sexual attractiveness and all of those things don't happen. But how do we work together in a way where that doesn't strip somebody of their dignity or create a violent situation,
Right.
professionally?
Okay, so I'm having this download, so bear with me. I almost want to correlate it, and again, I could be definitely wrong, but to the concept of white privilege. Because I feel like the many times that we have situations, it is how we are raised and constructed to show up in society. And I say this because, again, us as a whole, coming from a male-driven society, there's things that are taught to us, how to behave, our behavior patterns, what we should do in order to do this and that and blah, 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 blah. And then again, as we are taught these things, then we get of age and this opportunity now, if we ever come to that conclusion, wow, again, now let me see my behaviors, let me see my patterns, and do I want to change them? So for me, it's just like, I know these things that are out here, but conceptually, can you be at will to change, be of choice of a change to where, again, I can add to a different experience. So going back to what the question on the floor is, because I'll keep talking, it's, again, it's having the compassion to say, hey, maybe somebody is having a different experience, or considering that what is going on between, a male to male, building rapport versus a male woman building a rapport.
It's definitely different.
Can it be different? Can there be a consideration that somebody's having a different experience and being sensitive to that?
Right.
So I don't know. It's
So you definitely want to hear what the
Yum.
perspective. So we'll be right back.
I'm more resourceful than I thought.
My suit can still make an impression.
My video games are still game changers.
And my lamp can bring others a bright future.
Because when I donate my stuff to Goodwill,
It helps fund job placement and training for people right in my community.
Now my stuff gets a second chance.
and will give someone in my community
A second chance, too.
Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. That's goodwill.org. This message brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
JBT 700 Miami Circle 30324. It's not a chain, it's a chain reaction.
Invest $49 a month at a real gym.
For more info, go to facebook.com/Jeans
Body Tech.
I am an American soldier.
I'm a warrior and a member of a team.
I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place this first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
I am disciplined.
I am disciplined. Physically and mentally tough. Trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I am an expert and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
Enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
There's strong, and there's Army Strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
Keeping your balance with Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela.
All right, so today's balance challenge. One of the things that I want you all to think about, these topics that we're talking about today are pretty complex, and the reason why I struggle with it so much is because I hate generalizations. I hate generalizing and saying, this is how men are, this is how women are. All I can do is speak to my experience.
Right.
And I guess the research. I'm a
Yeah.
doctor. But
She's a doctor, y'all.
yes, exactly. So, but I think one of the best ways, one of the richest ways that we can grow and advance is by having conversations with other people about their perspectives. So I posed the question, I wonder how many men or how many people you all had to sleep with to get to the top, or how many people assaulted you on your way up. Actually, have that conversation for real. If you were to interact with somebody, a male in particular, who's really, really, really successful, to be able to sit down and have a real conversation about experience. So my challenge to you this week is to sit down and have a conversation with somebody who is a totally different demographic than you are. Maybe a different gender, different religion, different race, and learn about their experiences and the trials and the challenges that they went through. And listen. Don't go into comparing, oh, that's all you had to go through, this is what I had to go through. No. Listen and take it in, because everybody, just like you were saying, everybody receives experiences differently, responds to experiences differently. Stimuli impact them differently because of maybe the way they were raised. And so you can't just compare yourself and say, well, shoot, I had to do this. And, listen. My challenge for you this week: sit down and have a conversation with somebody and listen to their experience, and without feeling the need to interject yours.
I love it.
I think that's beautiful. I love the challenge.
I do too.
Challenge.
So that's my challenge for you. We had some comments from people listening on Facebook, watching on Facebook. Robert Pierce, hello, Robert Pierce. We were talking about why is it different when men and women interact, and professionally, men seem to be just fierce supporters of one another, and in whatever way, we're going to partner, we're going to do this. And it's more subtle than I think when women partner. When women partner, we're like on Facebook together, like, "Hey, girl, we just met. We about to partner." So we do it in a very overt way. I think men are a lot more covert about the way that they support each other. And so I asked the question, why is it different though when men support each other, they have each other's back, and then a woman, like I'll just say like myself, will try to step into the fold and try to be a part of this network, and the dynamic, they're just different. It's different. It turns in some cases it's turned into sexual advances, and it's like, well, dang, I can't be a part of the group without having to give it up. I mean, what's the So Robert Pierce's response to this was, because when a woman comes into the fold, it changes the dynamics. It becomes a competition on who is the alpha male.
Wow.
Oh, so it don't even have anything to do with us in this particular comment and situation. That is deep.
Yeah, that's something I wouldn't have thought. This is why we need the male perspective. This is why I love the male perspective.
I would have never thought of it.
Yeah.
Wow. So now it's like, oh, we're trying to compete for your attention. We're trying to compete for you. And nobody is really trying to nurture the entrepreneur or the goal that you're trying to accomplish.
Whoever acquires, it's a conquest. So whoever wins, that's the alpha male.
Why don't they just say whoever helps you the most?
There you go.
What's that like?
Whoever becomes the investor.
It's like a complete breakdown to like true, not like raw, like basic instinct.
Yes. And that kicks in.
You know what else too? It also points out that they do compete with each other.
That is true.
Just in a different way.
It's a different way. That is so true. That is so
different.
True.
That's what it is.
That is true.
Funny.
So the competition looks totally different, with men and women.
Interesting.
I would not have known that, Robert Pierce, if you had not given us that little window into the lives and the thoughts of men.
But to add to that, so then it doesn't help when they tell us, because again, I remember the conditioning around going into business, going into company, you have to look a certain way. You have to wear this. You have to be, even as far as to go a certain weight. So again, that doesn't help with the concept, because again, it's really based off the exterior. And with many men, I'm not going to say all, it's about visual, so, it's just something to just throw out there.
So do you think that we should, and I'm guilty of this, do you think that we should tone down, like a part of having a professional appearance as a female, does that include toning down your sexuality?
Oh, man.
And if it does, how do you do that? So like if you got a Nicki Minaj.
That concept, look at you.
No, because the first, with you sharing that, I remember a video showing, it was, and again, I can't give you facts at this point, but it was some random video I watched, and they were talking about how the woman was the devil. And because, again, it was about her shape, and it was a lady that was walking, and she had a voluptuous butt, but she was covered. So even in that moment, so I'm just like, at what point?
Can do no wrong.
Well,
can do no right.
Well, I'm just like, at what point do you have to scale and downplay you, and for actually our opposites, to take ownership of how you need to conduct yourself?
And will they ever? I mean, can you?
I don't know.
I think, well,
stop it.
You talked about going all the way back to the purest form of human nature with the whole conquest and, and so I think that we can overcome human nature. Human nature would compel us to pee on the street as opposed to in a toilet.
Right.
Human nature would compel us to do a lot of things that we have not done.
Exactly.
Because we're like, no, there's a certain way that I have, my society says that I should, carry myself.
Right.
So yes, from the standpoint of sexual attraction and tension, yes, we can have control over that as well. We have to first be aware that there's an issue.
Yes,
and
awareness.
Yes.
We talked about that earlier. We're in a state of expanding awareness right now,
right,
as a society.
And you have this lovely frontal lobe right here that helps to make those decisions.
It's supposed to be put into use. It's supposed to be put into use. Okay, well, I'm going to go right into Love Notes.
Love Notes with Dr. Pamela.
Okay, so I received this one from an anonymous person. Well, they want to remain anonymous, so
Okay, that's cool.
I know who the person is. So I'm like, where's the question? Okay, how do you achieve transparency? I hear you talk about transparency a lot.
Don't know how to achieve it. How do I achieve it and not make it seem as if it's being forced? Transparency. And I have talked about transparency
A lot from the standpoint of relationships, as a professional, just being willing to just be yourself and not have that front up, so that
and it doesn't necessarily mean telling all your business and you know, I feel sad, so I'm going to tell everybody I'm sad. Right. But it's also not about faking it, and it's about being true to your story and true to your journey, and so that people can realize, oh, that's a human, and she's really been through some things, and she overcame those things or whatever. Mm-hmm. So the question was, again, how do you achieve this kind of transparency, and not in a way that's not forced? And my thought to that is, it actually probably does have to be forced at first. Mm-hmm. When you exercise, it's not something you just, I just love to exercise. You know, when you first start exercising, you hate it. You're like, why am I doing this? I gotta get out of bed. And you're laying in bed like, you're gonna get up. You're forcing it, you know? You have to train yourself to get into the rhythm. Once you get into the rhythm, it becomes a little bit more natural. And then you actually begin to crave it. And you're like, I gotta,
right, I didn't exercise today. Yeah. The same thing is the case with learning to be transparent. It does have to be forced at first. It is something that you have to be very intentional about. Am I being my real self right now? Why am I fronting right now?